Hi, my name is Jackie, and I censor books. What does that sentence make you think about? What does that sentence elicit in you? Today I was helping at a book collection drive for a book sale that will be happening next week for Friends of the Library. And I was discussing keeping the trashy novel covers away from my kids. I jokingly said, my 12-year-old boy doesn't need to see it, and my 10-year-old girl doesn't need to want to be it. So, and got into a discussion about reading as children. And somebody says, well, I was never censored as a child. I was allowed to read whatever I wanted. And my gut reaction, first response, I don't censor. Well, you may not like that word. And then they went on to discuss various types of books that we all read. And I had to come back and say, I'm sorry, I guess I do censor. You know what? My kids are 12, 10, 8, and 6. They have reading abilities far above their maturity, a problem both my husband and I had as children. And I don't like the word censor. I call it parenting, but not everyone agrees. But that word, censor, just really right in the gut. But I think back to my own childhood, and I was allowed a pretty wide rein on what I read. There was a small shelf way up in the bookshelf that had like Our Bodies, Ourselves, and I wasn't allowed to read like that. But everything else was pretty much fair game. And I think about the things that I read that you can never unintroduce certain things to a kid. An example I often tell when telling silly stories about books we've read as children is in 4th grade for free reading. I was reading Jimmy Hoffa's autobiography. Again, my 4th grade teacher had a fit and a half, because if you're not familiar with Jimmy Hoffa, not only was the book dealing with the Teamsters and those issues, but the boy cusses enough to make a sailor blush. I mean, the F word was used plenty of times. And in reality, it wasn't the first time I heard it, so it wasn't shocking to me. But I don't think that it was necessarily appropriate looking back for that to be normalized for a 4th grader. And everyone always laughs at that story, and it's a funny story. But I have to say, I don't think it makes my parents look that good. And so when I think about it as a parent, I go, yeah, you know what? My kids can wait till they're older to read things like that. Yeah, I'm censoring them, but is that a bad thing? I can't be the only person, though, that when I hear the word censor, I think of crazy libraries saying how you can't read Huck Finn or Tom Sawyer or the Nazis burning books. It elicits this guttural reaction from me, and I'm sure so many others, that I feel kind of ridiculous saying I censor books. Parenting, I get. The word censor is just hard for me to swallow. But I think this is that point where I have to be a big girl and say, Mom, fine, take it that way. I censor books. I censor what my children read. So what do you think? Do you censor what your children read? Do you only allow them to get books from certain areas in the library, or do you just look at books and evaluate whether or not you think they're appropriate? We do a lot of that. My kids like science fiction, but we've kept really to like the juvenile Heinlein instead of the older Heinlein, things like that. Do you do that, or do you believe that, if a kid wants to read, let them read whatever? Let me know in the comments. I'm not just talking to people who might agree with me. I just ask that you keep it nice. If you just want to cuss and fight at me, I probably won't answer. But everyone else, I'd love to have a great discussion. Let me know, do you censor, or are you a free reader, letting them wander wherever they might go? I'm interested to hear how people feel about it. Let me know, and have a great day. Bye.